Hi, I don't know how many of you are here yet. So we will just, I've got some questions I got off of the posting about doing the reading today. And I have a couple things I'm going to talk about besides that. If you do want to have a question answered, type it in the comments and make sure that they're all, your comment is written all in caps if you want to make it, distinguish it as a question. And um, oh, hi, Alchemy for the Soul. I think you're a new name. So is DNA. Okay. Okay. If you have a question, I've got your question, Lakeisha, and I've got it. I'm going to set up as a banner. Hi, Prince Charming's mom. And let's see. Let's see. What have I been doing? Sheila's gone, so my life has gotten a whole lot calmer, but just because I'm not dashing around to do things. But the other thing is, the heat kind of went away. The heat sort of came with Sheila and left with Sheila. Oh my God, look at all these. Hi to everybody. Hi, Deb Kane. Hi, Tammy Jackson. Got your question. Karen Johnson, hi to you. What I'm going to start off with is the hi, Cardamancy. Cardamancy came to our meetup. I think I've talked about it, but on a week ago, we had a meetup of our subscribers in this area. We told them where to go. We had 26 absolutely delightful people show up to talk with Sheila and I, and it was great fun. And I spent a whole lot of time sitting next to Cardamancy, talking to her about her deal and what she does. And I was just blown away by the skill and the level of the people that are watching our channels and how much you know and how much you've got going for you. I was really, really impressed. And there was one lady there, and her name was Carrie, and she gave me her business card. And somehow between times 10 and home, I lost it. So if Carrie, if you happen to listen in, please resend me your information to my email, which is crystaldirections.nancyjean@gmail.com. Oh, yeah, their lives now. I'm going to start doing some things, I think, in the evenings too. I'm working on some shows with people. Johan's coming back. He kind of took a break, and he's the guy who works with ley lines in South Africa. Uh, and we're going to get working with them. And Sheila and I are going to do a show with him by the end of this coming month, July, because there's some stuff happening at the very first of the month astrologically, and then there's some real energetic things happening at the end of the month. So we're going to try to incorporate you and bring you in to the sort of energetic work that Johan does. I know a lot of people have questions about it. If you don't know who Johan is, his name is Johan van Wyk, and he lives in South Africa, and he works with
Power off.
archangels and other people like that. And if you heard a sound said power off, I forgot to turn off my little speaker, so it just turned itself off. But okay, I'll star you. But we're going to do a show to explain kind of what he does and how each and every one of us can help him with this very important energetic work. So I'm going to start with the first question that I have. We're going to go to the table, and I'm going to where to go? Okay, here. To move or not to move? That is the question. And that's Tammy's question. And we're going to look at it a couple different ways. She wrote me about it. She has several different options. She has the option of buying a piece of land and putting an RV kind of situation on there. Her other things are to rent. I presume you could stay where you are. You didn't say that was off the table, but anyway, so I'm gonna. But you think a house may be out of reach. So I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay a 3-card line for each part of that. So, and we're gonna start with. Look up here. Oh, you said something interesting in your comment to me. You said your move plans are all up in the air, and if, as you know, the air is the equivalent. Elementally, it's the equivalent of the swords in the tarot. So when you say something's up in the air, it means it's all up in your thoughts. And what that tells me is you haven't gotten a really strong feeling about which direction to go in yet. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to look at rent first. You really don't want to keep renting for some reason. It upsets you, but it fits within your budget. It's something you're capable of having happen. This is buy land with the RV. Oh, that looks good. You got an ace. But money's a problem. You've got 2 aces. Right now, and we're going to look at buying a home, getting a house. What do you got? Actually, the house looks like the best bet because the cards were all straight up. What I'm reading about the land and the RV, that's why I want to go to the house first because what it said is you have the money to do it, but it's really going to stretch you. It's really what you would more like to be in than your situation that you're in now. But there's been a lot of starts and stops. I think you've been negotiating with someone or trying to figure it out. And you get to a point and you think you're moving along, and then all of a sudden, boom, it sort of stops. The Ace of Swords means things are kind of moving forward. When I was younger, I used to read the Ace of Swords reversed as now's the time to move, because before that sword had you kind of pinned down. It's something you've been negotiating this spring. If it comes through, it's going to happen this fall, but you're still trying to figure out in your own mind about the money. And this is getting a house. And getting a house requires you working with a couple of other people, and you're going to have to do a little more work to get to the point you can do that. So in your move or not move, okay, let's see if you should. I'm just going to do a flat yes, no on whether you should move. Only problem with having the garden out, and I need it for my next reading, is it's hard to pick the cards up off of it, but gardens right now are for sale at my website, www.crystaldirections.com. And they're still discounted 10%. And I have just started a join category to my network. And for those of you who join, we're going to have 3 garden parties a month where we're going to do it on Zoom, where you can interact with me. We're all going to learn how to read the garden better ourselves. Okay. Oh, you definitely see. The house is the moving itself, just the whole thought of moving is kind of a yes, no. You feel kind of trapped where you are, but you're not trapped in the situation. So you could move if you wanted to, but you're just not that in love with any of your options, Tammy. I think what I was reading in your question, which is things are up in the air, I don't think you've pulled this into where you feel or you have the emotional feeling reaction you need. But when it comes, it's going to come quickly when the idea of which way to go. And you're worried. I don't know if you bought a house before and it didn't work out, what happened, but you really need to think about this carefully. But actually, all of your options would work except renting. If you were to rent down from where you live now, I'd like to say if you had to move quickly and you kind of downsize, that wouldn't work. Okay. And now the next question will be Prime 3 wants a general garden reading. So I'm going to throw, where is Prime 3 today? What's going on with her? Okay. Where's Prime 3 today? Oh, well, your spirit's very much in the present, and you've been reflecting a lot on your past recently because you want to get some new values coming into your life. and your body's really pulling your own emotions and the things you feel, sense, and feel that are connected to the body. You're feeling you want a lot more grounding. And for your clarity about where to move, you've got your thoughts are getting clearer, and but the problem is, and this is why your spirit, I'm going to read that one as the last one because it's most important. Your thoughts are getting clearer, but you have many paths ahead of you, and you have to decide which one to get down to. So you're relying on your spirit, and your spirit isn't present, which is really good because it's good to be present with our spirit. And there's part of what's going on with you, that your values are changing, is your spirit's going through a real awakening right now. Welcome to the club. That's happening to a lot of folks right now. But what's going to happen for you is it's going to become so incredibly present what you need to do, which way you need to go. It's going to be very, very, very obvious to you. Your grounding stone, which is your value stone, is you're okay. This makes sense. This stone landing here, it says more things are coming through. They're just not fully grown yet. If you don't understand how the stones react with the different elements, fire is ancestors, our past and past lives. And yeah, you've come across something that's awakened an old past life memory, and it's really moving you forward. It's moving your whole thinking forward. So I think just a little bit of patience. I'd say with where these stones have fallen, you're within a week or two of really coming to a conclusion about a change you've been thinking about needing. And that's my reading for Prime Tree. And so let's see. And okay. And I got this question from Lakeisha today, and it was what to do. I'm not the world's fastest typer, folks. What to do if you cannot relate to your tarot, the tarot deck you've picked. Okay. Let's misspell that word. I thought I typed your question in before here. Okay. Okay, here's your banner. Okay. What to do if you can't relate to a tarot deck you're working with. And the reason these three are here is because they posted on the community page, and I always start doing those first. Okay. If you got a tarot deck, the deck I just read from, it's based on Rider-Waite, and it's got major arcana like the Fool and the Page, who's part of a suit set. Then there are other decks. I love this deck because it's the one I used to read with all the time. And I like it because it doesn't have a devil. The devil is called manifest, and death is called transition. And when you read for people in a wine bar, you don't want to be throwing the devil or death down on the table because they probably had a drink. So anyway, so this is another traditional deck, but it's almost kind of very fairy tale. And I use this with a lot of as a verifying deck, and it's called Hanson Roberts. And since I've trained on those, I know them very well. But then you're going to run into decks that you may really, really like. But if you don't know how to relate to the suits and the cards, and you just can't see them that quickly, there's some decks that make that more difficult. And there can be a deck like this one. And I love this deck, but that's the world. But it's watermelon tourmaline, which I understand the stone and I understand what the concept of the world is. And this is the Knight of Swords, is carnelian. This whole deck is all crystals. That's all it is. The High Priestess is adventurine. Amber is the King of Coins. I got it because it was on a site that must have been selling out decks because they were not as expensive as I would have expected. And I just decided I wanted to have a deck of cards that was crystals. And when I got them, I was really pleased because when I went through them, I could relate to those. But a lot of it is just reading the cards yourself and making sure you've picked images that you can really relate to, Lakeisha, because if you have a whole lot of decks that, if you pick some decks are very abstract. The decks I just showed you are typical of Rider-Waite, where the minor arcana all have illustrations with them, and I always found the illustrations helped. Okay, I'm going to go through and mark questions and then start working up from, okay, there's one. Okay, DNA. DNA, did you ask me a question? Because I didn't see it in capitals and I don't know where it is. I'm glad you're here, but you wrote something that acted like you had a question. Best crystals for me. Okay. Okay. I'm going to show this one because I answered a question. Tammy, she's moving completely, but not the same rental. So I think you have a chance at the house. The most positive one was the RV with the land. Okay. And here's, okay, show. Oh dear. I can't tell you that, dear. I'd have to know the circumstances that's going on around you, because crystals can do anything. It's a whole universe full of truth that's involved in crystals. If I was to start swinging the pendulum on it, I have about $3,000 worth of crystals sitting right behind me. It would take us all afternoon. I can tell you kind of real quickly, the stones that I roll in here, the fusite is for body work because it's a stone that's related to fairies and to the elementals. And it's kind of funny and shiny. It doesn't seem that way to y'all, but it is. And this is sodalite. And sodalite helps us communicate and look at truths and be protected in our truths. This is the mind in my set, and that's orange or yellow calcite. And calcite's a very calming stone, but orange and yellow is very mental energy sort of thing. So if you're trying to work with your mind, you'd go there. This is a piece of amethyst, and amethyst is actually a very purple quartz. It comes from that family, and amethyst can calm you down and help you focus much more easily. And then I have a piece of pyrite here, and pyrites is for values. I have a different kind of pyrite if I kept it out. I didn't. I thought I had another piece of pyrite here. It's called peacock stone, and it's shiny like pyrite is in gold, but it has colors of the rainbow on it. And I think that's just a happy stone. It makes me feel good. I have this stone that I've shown people before. That's rainbow obsidian, and you can't really tell it because I'm in artificial light. But if you take this outside, all the colors of the rainbow are on that. And that's a grounding stone. When you pick that stone up, it just zoops your energy back in your body. So it kind of depends what do you want the stone to do? What do you need a stone for? I wouldn't even just try to define where you are. I tell you what we can do though, because I've not used my crystal deck much. Let's see if we can just pull a stone out of that, and you can see how it feels for you. I do a lot of stuff on the wings. I'm just on the fly. I've been reading cards since I was 12, and I came to the crystals in 2018. Started working with them. Sort of taken there by a trip to Denver. Let's see what card we pick up. Let's see what crystal we pick up for you. And I'll tell you my understanding of its more intense meanings. And You can see if it works for you. Okay, I don't want those 6. I don't want that one. Only problem with new decks is they have a lot of other funny little cards they stick in that are kind of advertising. So we're going to go back to the table so you can see what I pull for you. Okay. High Priestess, Adventuring. And there's a lot of different colors of Adventuring. This is green Adventuring, and it's very good for bringing in good luck. I think you may be looking to make some changes and you want to make good decisions. It's a very contemplative stone. It's really pretty. It's easy to get a hold of. It's not terribly expensive at all. And you get a chunk of Adventuring, and it's going to bring good luck. When I built the very first grid I ever built in 2019, I put a ring of Adventuring in there to bring luck to the people that were all on that grid. So let's see. Hi, Vivian. Hi, Skywalking. Okay. May I ask the cards about your pet scan? Melissa. And I'm not a doctor, nor do I play one on TV. This is just for entertainment purposes only. Let's see. Melissa V. Pet scan. They're going to give you an answer right away. You're going to a good doctor. That's one of my good doctor cards. And I grew up in a family of them. And that guy always strikes me as a good guy. They're going to know relatively quickly what the answer is for you. And I think it's going to be a good outcome for you, but they may have you do, sit down, talk with them about a couple of options, but I don't see it. If there was no card there that would make me feel like you should be threatened. Just relax, go get your test. I think you got a good doctor. I think they're going to be able to help you come to a decent decision about where you're going. Okay. Okay, I'm reading a question here. Okay. I'm going to highlight the question, and I'm going to tell you what. I'm not going to answer that. I don't like the I have for years gotten so past twin flame and soulmate and all that stuff because you have so many people you could connect with. And I hate to see people just get hung up on the idea that this is the one person. And she says parts of this question I really don't understand, Paulina, and I don't want to not answer your question. My answer would be if you showed up and wanted a reading with me and you wanted to talk about the one, have I found the one? I don't do that question. Okay, and let's see. Jan wants to know. Okay, I'm going to look at this one. Because this is a relationship thing. And she corrected herself in the next frame. She meant, is she being kept on a string? If it's done, it's done. You have to energetically cut that cord. They may keep coming back because they're a little bit of a power vampire. That's my impression. Hello, everyone. Okay. Prince Charming's mom wants a garden reading. Okay. And if you guys have been following me at all and you know that I've been doing with Jeffrey, we've been doing dailies. and I'd throw stones for each day for a month during the month. And Jeffrey read 5 tarot cards, and I read 5 stones. We've changed it to weeklies, and I've changed it a little bit in that I'm throwing in other stones to mean the weeks. And I hope you can see this. Oh my, can't do much about it. My camera kind of smooched down on this thing, but anyway. Okay. Prince Charming's mom, you got some good stuff. Right now, there's not a lot going on. I mean, there's a lot going on out in the world. I understand politically, I'm not a complete fool, but energetically inside ourselves, I think we're settling into some patterns. But you've got a really great stone in the path forward. You've got your grounding stone, and it says, more abundance is about to be created around you right now. That's the most important thing. But where you're kind of getting hung up is in how you really feel and think about this, because you've got your body in fire, and I think you're going over a lot of stuff from your past, Prince Charming's mom, and you're working on getting to the next level because your mind is also in the fire. It says, and when your mind's in fire, it's going backwards. Don't become obsessed about what happened before. Kind of let it go, because you've got a whole lot of new thoughts rising up out of the earth. That's really important for you. Your clarity is going to come out of air. And it says, be sure your thoughts are clear, which would tie to this being between these two places. But your spirit's in a great place. Spirit and water means, I think what you're getting used to, Prince Charming's mom, is that you've had a transmutation of your own self and how you view things, and it's moving forward. And the only thing that can pull you back is yourself if you let yourself fall back into old patterns. But this is really good for you. I think it's a good reading. I think focus on the spirit. This transmutation's already happened. I often think that when something really big's going to change for me, I'll see it and it'll be there and blah, blah. And I look back and I realized it happened 2 weeks ago and I just wasn't paying attention. Okay, show question. Do you have focus? Okay, let's see what you're going to... I think I'm going to throw this one in the garden. And I'm just going to kind of blindly pull one stone. The question is, what do I have to focus on to make 22 to 23 successful at work? Okay. Well, that's not the stone that wanted to fall. Okay, we're not using stones because it fell to the floor. Okay. We're going to use my cards. Okay. And I'm going to do a Celtic cross for you, and I'll explain to you what each of the cards means as I'm going through. And I would let's see, and it's Ronnie Y. And you posted that at a very auspicious time, 111, 111. Anyway, so Jeffrey and I did our first week of weeklies yesterday, even though he has COVID. He's in Mexico and he has COVID, but he didn't feel that bad, so we did it. And you will be able to see how the weeklies are going to run. So if you've been watching the dailies and then watch the weeklies, let us know what you like better. Okay, now this is Ronnie Y. Okay, girl, I can tell you. You see this one. Get the stone out of the way. You got, okay. Have you been thinking about changing jobs? Or is there going to be a change in your position at your job? One thing is you've gotten less obsessed with what happens at work. You're branching your life out a little bit. And that's good for you, because even though you were in good standing with those people, it's not where you wanted to plant yourself or where you wanted to be. And You're a very strong person, and for some reason, this situation you've been in has been draining your strength. You're you're a person who likes the rules and likes to make sure that things are being handled the right way. And something's happened to you this year that you didn't get what you wanted. By October, you're going to have the opportunity to move. Don't be afraid. Okay, I'll tell you this. These cards are the things that have already happened. All these are the vibrations that are out there. So you shows that you're going to have an opportunity, but you're like, oh, I can't do that. I'm not going to accept my own power. The fun thing about cards being in the future is you can always turn them around if you don't like what they say. So you got the magician who says, go for it. And you're going to have to step back and go to a position where you're going to have to start to learn some new things. I'm going to do it real quick. It's going to be October. I think you're changing companies. Is she changing companies? Well, your first influence would be to not change your situation, but you're not, your impression of what's going on there is true. You're not being treated fairly. So I would say keep your eye out for another good. Now it may be, okay, that's you moving again. It's because of a coworker, and you're going to go to a better place, but I think it could be within the same company if that's a possibility. But October's your month. That's your Wheel of Fortune month right there. And then you've got the Knight of Swords, and he has always meant to me moving houses or moving jobs. So, oops. Not as swift when I have the garden underneath it. Okay, well, see what other people have written. I was supposed to have Kelly work on this with me, but she's not feeling well, so send some good thoughts her way because she would have loved to have been here with us. It jumped on me. Okay. 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 Okay, there. Okay, now I've gotten back to where I'm back to her questions. Okay. Show. I'm experiencing emergence of new tools in the Ascension. Can you please read on learning to use the new tools? Or are the older tools in the way? Okay, what we're going to do is about your facility with your new tools. Now, tools are always sort of a thing we have to get used to. Trust me, the garden's been a shock. And at the end, I will tell you all more about, and I'm going to be posting on my community page about the garden parties. And we'll all learn from each other when we do them, because I've always found that when I work with people on it. Okay. The way I'm wording your question for you, Andrea, is, are your old tools getting in the way of your new tools? Yeah, that's not just a yes. That's an absolutely, completely, totally yes. And I'll tell you what, you got 2 Knights on here. You need to move on. You've built a lot of power, and it's like those powers are like an anchor. But apparently, whatever your new tool that you're working on, it means meeting new people and working on new things. And you're just a little bit hesitant about doing that, about walking away and not holding on. Your old tools are your security blanket, is basically what it's saying. And you can totally do this. So to say. Okay, you like being able to very easily know what you're doing. You like having all of the foundation there. And you're not sure where those tools are leading you right now, but you have the power and the energy to work with them justly. So I would say go for it. And when you get a little frustrated with the new tool because you can't do it with the same facility, understanding you're just expanding yourself. And use your old tools in new ways, but be open and be very, very open to being able to use them that way. Okay, this one's She wants a higher message. Any higher message. Okay, we're going to get out the pendulum. It's always fun. If I can find this thinger. Okay. Okay. Da-da-da. All right. Okay. I think you can see it pretty plainly with the way the camera's set. Okay. I swing first and then let it go to yes, no. Do I have permission to dowse? Am I aligned with my higher self? Am I fully protected? Yep. Okay. And you want to know a higher message for you today. Here, just let me, I have to shuffle through some papers. Wasn't expecting this question. Okay. There's a bazillion ways that we can align ourselves and improve ourselves. So this has got connect to nature, walk in the woods, walk by the sea, declutter, detox, visualization. So I'm going to swing the pendulum over this and see what the message is. The best place for you to get to your higher self. What is the best place for her to get to her higher self? Gratitude list. Start writing down what you're grateful for, because it will come back to you in so much better ways. And I know people talk about them all the time and people go, oh my God, that gratitude list thing again. But it really does work. So this is for DNA too. And it's the same thing. That's what you need to know. You need to start working. When you write out the gratitude list, you can see all the things you have to be grateful for. And I've heard it described to people that what we're grateful for today, we get even more of tomorrow. So it's a good way to focus on that. So what is Janice? Yeah, no, this is the one where she went, where I was telling her, he's a power vampire. Get rid of him. I mean, whatever you need to do, you'll have so much more energy when he's gone. Shamanism is shifting. Yeah, if you're in shamanism, it's a very exciting time in that field. A lot of people are beginning to understand what they ought to do and how to make it grow and how to make that particular spiritual gift grow. So we'll go with that. Okay. Could I have a career card, please? Yes, I'll pull you an oracle card for career. I do have oracle decks. I used to think oracle decks were cheating, because if I learned, this is this lady here. Okay. I used to always think, if I can learn all the tarot cards, why can't you? But I understand it's not everybody's thing. But see, what should you look for in a career? We're going to pull two cards and look. These are really stiff cards. They're big, sturdy cards. And what should you be the focus on the career? Be true to yourself. So if you get into a situation and begin to explore, I'm going to pull a third one because I think I'm seeing where this is going. Let's see. Okay. The cards I got was be true to yourself, begin to explore, because I think you can do more than you're doing, and imagine new solutions in your career. So if you're feeling a little bit stuck, it's because you're not doing what you really feel you should be doing, and or you're not being allowed to do it the level you need to. So begin to explore other options and maybe take some trips and look at some different things, because you have a possibility of getting some brand new solutions. I think I really think that's why you asked that question, because you need to focus on yourself and creating the things that you want to do with your day and your life all the time. That would be helpful. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, and we've got okay, show. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll use these for, I'll use that to ask that question for you about, are you heading in the right direction to get your business rolling? Don't want to use these. No, I think I'm going to use the pendulum and ask if if the moves you're making right now are in the right direction. Okay. Since I already cleared that I'm ready to dowse, I don't have to do the 3 questions again. I can just ask. Yes, the steps you're taking right now are moving it in the right direction. And let's see, is alchemy with Ginny moving? Is she connecting with the right people? That's kind of you're not reaching out enough to other people, because the way it's going to work is eventually intuitive healers are going to be in communities and of other people, and they're going to be cross-pollinating each other. If you haven't seen, if you don't know who Pam Gregory is, go back and find her. She's on YouTube, and she's got 200,000 followers, so hard to lose her. She's an astrologer in England, but she also watches trends, and she did a show in the last week or so about a woman who last March said, we're all these alternative healers, but nobody's paying any attention to us. So what we need to do is form groups. And she already has 12 groups up. She has actually paperwork you can get from her on how she started to organize it. And she's opening up all these alternative healthcare centers all over England. Now everybody's just saying hi to each other. Oh, now I got a question. Okay. My ex and I are still trying to make things work. We both love each other and want to work it out. Are we hanging on when we should be letting go? Okay, we're going to ask if you're hanging on when you should be letting go. Okay, yeah, because the other alternative is, should you continue? I can ask either question. I think I'll ask whether you should continue to work at it, okay? Yes, there are elements there that are worth continuing. Will they be able to overcome the bedrock problems in their relationship? Yes. It says to keep working on it. Oops. Thank you, DNA. Okay, okay, there we are. Can I have a garden reading? Yep. Yippers. They're over here. Okay, what I'm asking is what's going on around you right now? Since I don't know a specific question to ask about you. Okay, let's see. Oh, wow, girl. You all on one side of the garden, I tell you. And you have just, well, you almost hit the trifecta. This is really when the stones fall in the lines, you have to read all 3 of the spaces that they land in. But what we're going to start with, we're going to go to the root of the matter. We're going to see something's going on around you right now, and it's in your root chakra. And it's clarity, and it says you need to tie to cosmic wisdom. You've got the ability to tie to cosmic wisdom, and that's what's needed to create the base, because your spirit's in your sacral chakra, which means your spirit. You're going through a creative spurt, lady. You're thinking about, I could go do this. I'd really like to go do this. So now, how are you going to do this? Well, you're having to really rethink a lot of stuff, because restate means that when I visioned this space and I had a dream about it, it's like the answer's in the garden there somewhere, but you have to pull a lot of weeds to figure out which one's going to work and what isn't. And so your options don't seem very clear to you, and they're partly clouded because are you wherever you're going or whatever you're thinking about going and trying to do, I see you falling back onto a lot of old family patterns of, you can't do that. Our kind of people don't drive Cadillacs. We drive Oldsmobiles, that kind of stuff. I mean, you're getting a lot of negative. You've got this great idea that's trying to emerge, and you've got some energy inside you that's trying to pull you back. So let's see. Okay, you're building off what you've learned how to do up to now, and that's been very helpful to you, because clarification, excuse me, I'm getting a little hoarse. Clarification is coming from things you've done in the past. So you're actually, that may be what's confusing to you, because this great idea relies a lot on what you've known in the past. But where's your mind? This is where your mind sits in this. And yeah, this is telling you this is reminding you, okay, this is how we did it before. Your mind's sitting right next to that stone. And that definition, when it's sitting right there, it says, break from the previous patterns of the past and enjoy the new experiences. That's when it says it's in past. And when it's in fire, it says, do not become too tied to false imagery of the past. And the way I look at that, it's only in those two spots. So what I see is, you've got this great idea, and your spirit's 100% there. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But your physical body, your physical reaction to that is, I need to weed out a bunch of this stuff that didn't work before. These two stones are telling you to just let them go and just work off this energy. When you're going to think about your energy, think of your clarity in your life and your spirit moving forward. If you these are the sort of voices that show up in our heads when we ought to be moving forward, and we say, that's the ones that I always say to them when they show up for me, and it happens to me. I'm not picking on you. What you need to do is you say, thank you for sharing, and move on. I hope that helps. A lot of information off 5 little stones. And that's the stuff you'll learn if you get a garden and if you start coming to the garden parties. We'll all figure these things out together. Okay, is there something more creative I could do right now? Okay. We're going to do a right now quick stone throw for Anita. Yep, there is, because you got clarification in the tree of life. And you've got your minds in the future. Your problem is this stone, man. Well, I know what it is. I think energetically, a lot of us are looking at our lives coming up to now, especially with some of the stuff that's gone on. And we're trying to figure a new way. And you're embodying your past when you're thinking about this. But man, you got great stones. You've got spirit and air. And your spirit, when you tie your spirit to whatever you want to do, whatever creative thing you want to do, you get so much energy. I bet you even scare yourself. And your third eye, which is a fun place to have your values, the third eye says, this brings, by tying to the energy here that's all positive, you bring in a new abundance, including manifesting right now. Whatever Grounding stone being in the third eye means whatever I think I manifest. So be really careful about what you think. So don't think crummy things because you don't want those coming towards you. And your mind's in the future, and it says think about the situation. This is all the same thing. Think about the situation you're in the future sense, and this shows that your mind is moving forward because it's an air. And your clarification being in the tree of life. Your path is now blessed with clarity and wisdom. Okay. You know what's good about the garden? You can move stones. Move this to water where it says, oh, limitations are moving away. You have so much. You have a great idea. And you can get to it. And honest to God, girl, I read this thing quite a bit, but I don't get that many incredibly interesting readings where it's just all, you got it, girl. Why aren't you going with it? So, and oh, yeah, Ronnie, yeah, you're going to get an offer to move. It's going to happen in October. And I know you meant Spidey sense. You type as well as I do. And thank you, folks. I'm trying to read. I'm trying to find messages. Joe, okay. Message from your maternal grandmother. Okay, I have a different deck I use for this. And it's over here, so you're going to have to let me leave for a second because I wasn't expecting to do crossovers today. Okay, we'll use this one. Oh. I do not have the best space for storing stuff around me. And Sheila said when she walked in, she goes, oh, this is where the magic happens? Woo. And then she left. She didn't hang out in my office with me. I had to come back and do one of the 9 candles when she was here. Okay, we're going to get, this is, if you don't know this deck, it's Talking to Heaven. And it's by Von Prague. And I got it because I was going to an art exhibit where the woman would channel family members, pick portraits of them. And she wanted me there to help people. And I don't do past life stuff much. So at that time I didn't. So I got these decks to see. Get you guys out of the way. Okay. And this is for maternal grandmother. Oh, Granny's trying to make me out to be a liar. It says we are soulmates. And the descriptions of what these cards are about are absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to read it for you. We are soulmates. It was no accident that our lives intersected, and we are from the same soul group, which is symbolic to symbiotic life purposes. We were brought together on this earth life to help each other grow, learn, and love. Sometimes that meant painful situations that tested our patience and our ability to forgive others. Which I would read that you and Granny had a lot of the same folks you weren't terribly fond of in the family. I sincerely apologize for any pain I inflicted on you. At each moment, I was doing the best I could. At times, I fell short of my potential. I hope that you will release any anger that you have been holding towards me or the others in our family for your own sake, not mine. I hope that in some ways I've given you a pattern to look at, to grow, to learn. So whatever your family clash was, she's giving you permission to let it go and not try to solve it any further. Let's see. Okay. I'm out of people having questions. Don't ask anymore because I'm going to talk about membership. And I'm going to switch me back so we don't look at the table. We look at me. And I'm going to get rid of, oh, I can't do it that way. How do we do it? I got to go back and find it to kill it. Okay. Um, two things. The gardens are available on my website, www.crystaldirections.com. We're going to have a way for you to learn it. I'm going to have meetings during the day and in the evenings. I'm sort of talking to a couple of people who've already joined. And actually, the reason I went to doing this with memberships is I had tried to do it as an open thing before. And it's very confusing. And I figured out people don't really appreciate what they don't pay for, a little bit. And it was going to take me a lot more organization than I wanted to put into it at the time. So I came up with this membership pattern, and I've been practicing and I've been planning out how to learn the garden if you're a complete novice. Now I know four women who use it all the time contacted me and said, you need to make us a group so we can all learn from each other, because whenever I play with the garden, every day, every time I use it, it's a different thing. And on the weeklies, you'll see when Jeffrey and I started doing the weeklies that I do one large garden reading, like you saw me just do for like the vibrations of that week. And then I threw one different stone in for every day. And I'm not using the guide stones I included in this. I was using stones that had a certain amount of meaning to me. And so if you want to see that, that starts on tonight as the first one goes up, if you want to see it. The other thing is I have eggs. I really have eggs. I have like 20 of them now because the guys figured out how to get it all done. They figured out how to build them out in batches. They can only make one. They can only say we have one finished egg a day because it's so many parts to the process. But if you've never seen an egg, this is the egg, and it's a heart chakra. And the other egg I have is the throat chakra. And you have to decide what you want to work with. And I'm getting together with, when I made the eggs in the first place, the first person who made it for me, if you don't know that long, horrifying story, she was a fabricator. She had not worked with acrylic before. She poisoned herself. That's acrylic stuff's apparently very dangerous if you don't have an extremely well ventilated room. So she got me like 15 eggs, and then she almost died, and she said, I can't do this. So then I had to go find somebody who could do the eggs, because people who had the eggs were calling me and saying it had changed their life. One guy said it's an interdimensional portal, but that's the sort of stuff he does. I think the eggs become who you are. But I went ahead and met this company, and at one point I signed a contract with them over a year ago, and it's just now that they can really start producing. It's that difficult a process, but they love learning it because they're a fabricating company that makes games. Matter of fact, it's the same company that makes Lilac Lanterns deck, prints her decks. And it just took them this long. And one point, my guy's name is Razzo. I said, Razzo, we can just stop this. And he said, no, I'm going to figure out how to make these things work. So now we have them, and they work. And I'm going to be talking about them more, and I will be having some training on how to work with the eggs. I have the design for each of the eggs. In the heart chakra eggs, it's malachite is the crystal in the middle. It's a very important green stone that's very important to balancing the heart chakra. The next egg I have is the throat chakra, and it's got lapis lazuli in it. And I'm going to get my little throat chakra egg out because my throat's starting to go. And you can use it in meditation. You can use it. The original first egg was designed for a friend of mine who has a rare form of congestive heart failure. And he found that it worked. It helped him. It helped him strengthen his heart and helped him strengthen his whole chest area. 2 or 3 people have the throat chakras now, and I'm trying to build up what's happening with them. But I have a design for each one of the chakras. The next chakra I would make, if I continue to expand this, would be the root chakra, because my experience as a reader is if your heart's blocked, it's in the middle of the chakras, so the energy can't flow like it should. So if you can unblock the heart, that seemed to me to be the most important one. Then usually I get a lot of things from people. I can't say what I want to say to people. So I think that that I thought the throat chakra would be the next one, and I think that was right. Then the other chakra that I'm going to go to next will be the root, because so many people don't want to get grounded, and we're going to need that grounding now. The ascension means you go up, but you're still attached to here. So anyway, and I hope that you can understand what's going on with that. If you're interested in the gardens, let me know. I'm going to go over and look and see I started the memberships about a week ago. And I'm going to be doing some shows. I'm going to be doing a show with Sheila on ley lines, which is another fun rabbit hole that my thoughts live in. And I'm going to be doing a show with Andrea on an exploration of all. You saw me use an alternative form of dowsing thing today about what you needed to do right now to improve your higher. That was a message from your higher self. And then other than that, I'm just sitting here doing readings and things, still building grids, still doing that. And I thank you all so much for coming. And with that, I'm going to sign off, and I will talk to you probably next Tuesday. If they they won't be throwing a meeting in there, because they've done their meeting they needed to do for J6. But and I might try a nighttime meeting, because I know there are people who come back and catch it later. But sincerely, if you want to get your question answered, you need to put it in the comments when I send out the notification, because that's where I get them from most obviously. Okay, Juno, I will go and look. I think I know what you're talking about. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go and spend the rest of today making my family's dinner and working on a grid. And I will look forward to seeing all of you next week. Have a good day. Blessings.